It's not often you can say that my director is a witch, but in your case, Megan, I'll make an exception.
Thank you. There's probably a few people who call me that, actually.
This is Megan Handley, and her also known as Witchy Poo.
Yes.
From the show, was it HR Puff and Stuff? Now there's a blast from the... My goodness, I can't admit to ever having seen that.
Oh, look, you're lucky. I used to run home from school to watch it when I was a wee girl, yes. Loved it.
The 1970s, isn't it? The 70s?
It was the 70s, yes.
And it starred...
Billy Hayes played the lead role of Witchy Poo, and Jack Wilde was the boy who had found his flute, had a golden flute, and lost his way to Living Island.
Right, and Billy Hayes, of course, was more famous as Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies.
That's correct. Yes.
Her alter ego with a nose. You've got the nose for it.
Thank you very much.
I don't mean your actual... Oh boy, I got myself in all sorts of heaps of trouble here. Now,
I have a prophetic nose.
So, HR Puff and Stuff comes to Palmerston North, and you've spent the last week of the school holidays putting it together.
That's right, yes. Yes. We started in Sydney 2 weeks ago, and we had a group of 40 children, which was quite interesting, across the ditch there. And I had a Wellington tutor called Fergus Aitken, who is New Zealand's loudest mime and comedian. And he came over and played the part of Witchy Poo, which was fantastic. And then we went to Hawke's Bay, and we performed for another week where we did Napier and Hastings combined. And that was another group of children. And then we've toured down to Palmerston, where we have a small group. This is like an initiation of a new township for us. So we're just starting to get the word around that we're coming into other townships.
Now, by the word us, you mean who?
Okay.
Now, I don't see multiple personalities trying to break out here.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Yes, it is me. It's me. In fact, Fergus is calling me. It's all about me, Megan. Yes. I do the production and the administration and the choreography and everything. I don't write the music. Thank goodness for that. Peter Dayson, a New Zealander, has done some of this beautiful music for us and composed original music. Most of the music in all the programs is original that you heard today.
Right.
It's quite impressive, isn't it?
It is. Who would have thought?
Yes, apart from, of course, the theme song of HR Puff and Stuff and the finale. So, yes, the rest of it is all with Justine Clark. Someone else has also contributed her expertise in the music. But, yes, mostly I came up with the idea and wanted to see if it would work. So I've spent a couple of years doing it alone, making it happen, and then calling in the troops when we need to get out there and do it.
So the name of the group is?
Dream.
Dream, and that stands for?
Drama, Recreation, Educational Arts Movement.
Right, so you're funded to go around various centres in New Zealand and in Australia.
We've just been given some funding, yes.
Is that right?
The Ministry of Social Development have recognised that there is a need for children to be actively engaged during the school holidays. And they thought that our holiday program concept of holding these in the holidays so that mums and dads that are working can be assured that their children are in some really cool activities. Not a glorified kind of babysitting service, something that really does make the children extend themselves and dig deep into where their journey's at for themselves.
Right, and so what is special about your program? How is it set up?
It's quite unique in the sense that it's other holiday programs would possibly be more of a recreational process, whereas ours is a concentrated arts program. And it's educational in the sense that we start with warm-ups. We teach them rhythm. We teach them the importance of stretching every day, having warm-up and engaging music to make movement for choreography. So we can have children from all walks of life that have never had anything to do with music or dance or singing or acting or drama and come in and be a part of this building blocks from the ground level to presenting their own performance.
So it is a week-long session. That's what, 40 hours working week, and they start from woe, and by the end of the week's period, they're actually putting on a show.
Absolutely, yes. It's a little 20-minute sharing of work. And we call it that because in 40 hours you can't expect children to, come up with some of the things that we would like to see. But we embellish it with lighting and sound and stage sets and props and beautiful, colourful costumes. So they do get in there and start owning their act. They become their character. But you see, we have age groups from the age of 5 through to 13. So through the week, we split those age groups, 5 and 6-year-olds, 7 and 8-year-olds, and then 9 and 13-year-olds. So that I have often 3 tutors on board, and they are all working on different disciplines of the arts with the children in their correct age groups, so that we can extend them within their capabilities, really. And give them homework and a lot of work to do. Parents love the programs because the children come home absolutely exhausted, go to bed early and can't wait to get up. And they get up early and they don't have to get the kids ready. They're all standing there waiting to get out the door.
Wow,
So, and there's a lot of camaraderie. They make friends. We have meltdowns. We have all sorts of experiences that we have to get through. It's real drama, I tell you.
Real life drama.
Yes, yeah. And, the Fergus Aitken, as I said, started with me 3.5 years ago in Sydney, and we had no idea where it was going. We just wanted to see where it would go. And now it was a milestone for him and I because it's our second year in New Zealand now. So 2 years, and for he and I to stand here and look at it at the end of that time and see we've had 1,800 children go through the program.
Wow.
And I've taught all of them except 30 that I had. Fergus and a lovely tutor called Sally Stopforth Morton. She went to Palmerston, to Dannyvirk with them, and we introduced a small rural experience there, like an initiation. So I want to see these go round the rural townships to areas where they don't often get this kind of thing coming through. People say, why don't you go to Wellington and Auckland? Well, Wellington and Auckland and Christchurch, they probably get a lot. So I would like to go to smaller little places and townships. And eventually we'd love to do Wellington and Auckland, but our ethos is that we wish to teach children the building blocks so that they can find the encouragement to say, hey, I want to go and join that group, or I want to go and be a part of this singing thing, or I want to go and do this, or just get fit and healthy and go and do sports.
Yeah.
So it's engaging the community.
And this is the second visit you've had to Palmerston North.
Yes, our first one was a trial. I did that to try and qualify some future applications to Creative New Zealand, so that we can prove to Creative New Zealand that there is a need for our type of performances here, and we hope, fingers crossed, that we'll be successful in the future. But with the Ministry of Social Development, they've given us like a little seed funding and development funding as a guarantee against loss to go into each township. But we will probably need to find sponsors, Not much, just a little bit of sponsorship, but just enough to see these programs go through the entire country.
So when were you last in Palmerston North?
April, which was the autumn program. We presented the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Now that was quite special. It was lovely. And 2 tutors and 2 assistants and I came down. So that was a good experience. And see, we feel good now. We know with motels, we know the streets, we know where to go to pack and save. We know how to feed ourselves and get where we need to get.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to coming back. We're going to be back here for spring holidays, and that will be from the 7th to the 11th of October. And we'll be presenting a beautiful classic of The Wind in the Willows.
Wow. Yep. fully costumed and all ready to
Absolutely.
rip.
Yeah. We've got about 800 costumes all up now.
Goodness.
Because there's 4 programs. You've got Si Senor, which is a Latin American one where we teach children to cha-cha, merengue, and we know that when they're in their 30s, 40s and 50s, they'll remember that, I'm sure you remember how to merengue, do you?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So, there's our Si Senor, which is a bit of a New Zealand Kiwiana program. That's the summer program. Then you've got Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Then this one, which is the winter program, HR Puff and Stuff. And then The Wind in the Willows. And each year we'll come back with the same program, but it goes into the next series of. So, more costumes, more roles for everybody. And there's familiarity, but there's also something to add to it.
Right. What sort of feedback have you got from the parents?
I'm blown away with what the parents have been saying. The Palmerston lot made me put my prices up. I've never had that happen before, which is quite amazing. One audience in Napier, an audience of 70 parents found the door open to the auditorium and walked in and sat down. It's the first time in my whole career I've had to come out and ask the audience to leave before a show. Oh my goodness. And they did. They all said, oh goodness, we'll go then. And then they left and then they waited while we preset the children and then they came into the prelude, you see. It was a part of the show. So you couldn't tell the children after 40-hour rehearsals, sorry, we're changing the whole intro. But it was fabulous. Parents love it. They've been so supportive. The word of mouth is incredible and they've really taught me a lot. They've helped me expand on all of this.
So when you come back in October, is there a ceiling or limit on the number of children you can take?
We've got enough costumes to accommodate 40 children. So that works at about 12 5 and 6 year olds, 12 7 and 8 year olds, and then 10 9 to 13 year olds. And it's usually the way that the 9 to 13 year olds play the lead roles. And the wee ones become chorus routines, which they feel important because they get 2 or 3 costume changes, So we've got room for 40 capacity, which is why I'm playing Witchy Poo. I've had to let Fergus go back to Wellington, and I'm playing Witchy Poo this season because we've only got a small group, because that's what we're trying to do, is initiate it into this town. So I would welcome at least 30 to 40 children.
Oh, I'm so sad. You know why? Because I was Witch of the Year. I had my title. It was fabulous. I remember. Oh, yes. I remember like it was only yesterday. In the meantime, I'll go to my X-ray machine and I will find that fruit.
I'm in Puff and Stuff. What are we going to do now?
So how do parents go about applying to get their children onto the October intake?
Well, we've been very, very lucky to find the support of the Principals Association here, and they've given me permission to put our flyers out through all the schools.
Right.
So the schools and parents will see the flyers as they come through, and then they just ring the information line, and they can book, online. And we've also got a booking agent who takes the call and explains it all to them a bit more, gives them more information. But we also ran a survey here of 14,000 flyers, and that's what gave us the inclination that we should come here. People responded, yes, we'd love to see this here. So
But it does cost the parents though, doesn't it?
it does. For a 40-hour week, it's now, because the parents have asked me to raise my prices, it's now set at $210 for a 40-hour week. And then for a 30-hour week, it's set at $185. Now, if you are both parents that are working, you can be means tested and apply for work and income support. And that is a subsidy also through the Ministry of Social Development directly to parents. And in some cases, parents are being assisted to the amount of $3.95 an hour, whereas our hourly rate is around about $6. So they're getting, some of them are getting up to 50%, if not more, of a discount. So definitely look at that. Those that are not eligible and have 3 or 4 children in their family, siblings, I have a special sibling deal, and that reduces the cost considerably as well, so that you can send 2 or 3 children if necessary.
You're based in Sydney, but you originally came from
Hawke's Bay.
Hawke's Bay.
I was born in the Bay, and I started doing things like this from the age of 3, and started doing exams from the age of 6. And I had an incredible career, I guess, from the age of 14 through to the last 5 years of performing internationally, nationally and internationally, in my genre of dance mainly, dance and comedy, satire. And in my career, I have met some incredible people, performers, you know, a little bit mad, but, you know, performers alike. And I would like to see and engage their services as tutors to come and work with children. That's how I see it. Now that we're all, you know, parents or, you know, we've got to really get that child inside us out to the children around us.
Right. So in fact, future sessions like this, there could be some name tutors taking the classes with the kids, and I suppose giving something back to the community.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And giving their experiences, not just teaching
Right.
them how to act or how to dance or how to sing, but explaining to them about the energy behind that and what to expect and where it can take you. It's the whole journey, really.
So it's also an outlet for those performers to pass on their knowledge to a new
Indeed.
generation.
Indeed, yes. Yeah.
Well, wish you all the very best. It's nice to see you here, and we'll look forward to
Thank you.
catching up with Wind in the Willows when it hits town in October.
Thank you very much. That's great.